Welcome back to another episode of Connected Disdorder. My name is Humberto, the creative pseudo guy, pseudo creative, and my friend Jonas is on the line, a guy who drives around the country with a couple of cats, and we're here for another episode. What's up, Jonas?
What's going on? What's up, people?
So how's the road?
Long and never ending. It's fun, man. Road is fun. It's always fun. Every now and then you run into some weather and traffic that just kind of frustrates you, but it's what we do for a living, man. So, it's fun.
How's the weather? I mean, it's not. Has it gotten cold yet, or where are you?
Right now I'm out east, so the weather's still pretty decent, man. Out this way it's kind of like Texas, fucking summer in the daytime, and winter creeps in the early evening into the morning. You get all four seasons in one out this way, but then when the winter hits, oh baby, look out! That's when the fun starts. Because unlike Texas, you get a lot of ice and snow out this way. So I pretty much work the southeast of the country. Every now and then I go up the Midwest and up to Michigan, Ohio, all them, heavy weather states. But for the most part, I stay southeast, southeast, man. So if you're a fan of college football, then just picture the Southeastern Conference in college football, and those are the states that I work. So it's it's chill, man. It's fun. And my cats, keep me company. It's better company than anything else that's out here on the road. Ain't nothing good out on the road as far as company, man. Dude. Hey, but if there's truckers out there listening that are into that, I'm not judging you, man. I'm just saying, not my thing.
Gotcha. Hey, speaking of football, man, so I watched the Bama game with our next door neighbor, and they're LSU fans. So I was rocking the Alabama shirt.
I was working, and I had put my phone on Do Not Disturb because, there was so much in sports going on. The Astros going for the clinch, and then, Bama, LSU, and Texas, and Kansas State, all kinds of good stuff going on, man. Yeah. And I can't, while I'm driving, man, my blood pressure just gets too high. I get too excited. I lose focus, and I'm afraid I'm going to end up face down, ass up in a ditch if I get too excited. So I just turn everything. Off, man. But then finally, about 10 o'clock, I gave in. I turned my phone back on. No, but it blew up right away. People talking all the hate shit about Alabama losing. But it's all good, man. Hey, the dynasties, they don't last forever.
Yeah, but, I've told you before, like on your Facebook post, like the time that I lost, when I started crying on my last game, that was when the Oilers, lost to the Chiefs. Was it the Chiefs?
You cried?
No, it was the Bills.
The Bills.
The Chiefs were just as bad. With Montana.
Choked. Yeah, no, Frank Reich brought the Bills back from, what was it, like a 28-point deficit. Oh,
man. I went to Calzadas thinking, oh, yeah, we got this in the bag. I'm going to play some video games. And I went back and they were down. Yo soy bien confiudo, man. It sucks.
Speaking of video games, back in Calzadas and Zapatas, why don't you share your story about when you swallowed a fucking quarter? Ended up in the emergency room. Do you still have that scar? I think the last time
I have the scar, and my mom has the quarter. Yeah.
Oh my God! I don't know why. Just wait for you to shit it out. I mean,
hey, we waited, but after a month, like, say how I used to say it.
Wait, you waited a month?
Nah,
before...
I don't know. I just knew I swallowed it because I couldn't believe that damn thing went, down my damn throat.
You're like choke and die on the spot. That is crazy, man.
I know,
Some good
man.
Those were some good times with some good music. So with that, let's get into some music talk, man. We've been talking about how music has changed over our lifetime and how it's affected you, how it's influenced you. For me, music is probably one of, if not the biggest, influences in my life, man. And it's a funny story about how I got into it. So, growing up Mexican, man, we grew up similar. You had less siblings. Two? You only have two, right, Carlos?
Yeah, Carlos and Tencha.
Yeah, well, in my household, it was my older brother, which was hardly ever around, but then it was myself, and then Aaron, Jacob, Adam, and then my little sister, Ruby. So five of us. And we only had two TVs, right? Two televisions. One television, of course, was for mom, and then the other one we all kind of had to share. And I wasn't into all the damn shows that my siblings were watching. Doogie Howser, what was that? What was that show with that chick Wendy that everybody's into? Life Goes On or something like that.
No, the one with Danza.
No, that's Alyssa Milano.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Winnie Cooper and Fred Savage.
Dude, I had the biggest crush on Winnie Cooper, dog.
A lot of guys do. But I was never into all that television stuff. So I quit even trying to set a schedule with my brothers and my sister about who's gonna watch what and when. So ever since a young age, man, I just stuck to my radio, my music, in my room, just listening to the lyrics, listening to the jams, the beats. So music for me started at a very early age, man. I mean, I remember one of my first artists that I ever got into, mesmerized. I mean, just completely mesmerized the very first time I heard him.
Who Tiffany? I think we're alone now.
Vicente Fernandez, bro.
No
I mean,
way.
I remember going to that drive-in in the Westmer. So it's in between Westlaco and Mercedes. I'm not even sure if it's Westlaco or Mercedes. But you know which one I'm talking about, right? I think it's still open. I think they still use it. I don't know. I haven't been down there in forever. But anyway, it's the drive-in. It's over by that flea market off of the expressway.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow, man. You don't remember? So anyway, Vicente Fernandez, man, first time I ever heard him sing, he was like, it was the original MTV, but this dude, instead of making videos, this dude did it kind of like Elvis Presley. He would do his songs in a movie, on screen. You know what I mean? And man, the very first time I heard him sing, I was like, oh my God, the voice. And then what attracted me most about the music was the story, how someone was able to put a story into lyrics and then add some music to it. And oh my goodness, it just grew from there. So, obviously being from a Hispanic family, that's what got me started in music. Vicente Fernandez, but I gotta stop cussing, right? Antonio Aguilar.
No. Dale madre, vato. Tú hablas como te chingada gana.
So it started with them, Vicente Fernandez, Antonio Aguilar, Pedro Fernandez, Jose Alfredo Jimenez. You probably, I don't know if
I grew up watching those movies and my dad making fun of me because I would start crying. You know what I mean? Torito.
You cried in sports and you cried.
Oh
with
yeah,
music.
yes. So bien chillón, man. I mean,
You're
to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, so and then growing up, so this was, I must have been. This was, if my dad was there, then it was before 10 because he passed away from cancer when I was 10. So this was like preteens, right? And then in the teens came the hair bands. you remember the hair bands, right? We're talking uh,
Yeah,
Guns
Quiet
N' Roses,
Riot.
Crew, yeah, White Snake, Poison, all those, all that good stuff. I'm sure anyone listening can remember their favorite hair band. But before the hair bands, I had to understand. So with the hair bands came the music video, and people were able to put faces, to the bands, to the music, and everyone started dressing like them. Uh, that it's music. Music is a form of expression, man. People do it. They start imitating how they dress, how they talk, how they act, how they.
Yeah, I
So,
remember
but
Johnny used to like do that talent show at the Real Fest.
well,
Remember
the
that?
talent, yeah, the talent show. You know what? The talent show wasn't all. I mean, you had a choice, right? But everyone chose. You had a choice on what talent you wanted to display for the audience, right? But because music is so influential, just about everybody, like 9 out of 10 acts, did something musical, right? And Johnny Garcia, Johnny Garcia, if you're listening, what's up? He
Yes,
was
sir, bro.
him. Yeah, man. He would put on some good shows, man, with the help of his sisters. I remember the rehearsals. They would do them at the Garcia household. You remember the Garcia household, right? On what was
Yeah.
it? On High Street, or they would go down to Crockett when the elementary schools were still open. They had now they're all fenced in. Nobody can get in or out. But yeah,
Yeah.
he did really good at the talent shows with the help of his sisters. So, but before the hair bands came along, before I was able to put faces, to the music, to the bands, I was introduced to the heavier metal, or
Cause of
uh,
Ernest or what?
Black. Well, Ernest was one that.
He
No,
went a
he
little
introduced
deep though. Ratas de porra.
Ernest Alanis introduced me to some heavier stuff.
Yeah, some satanic shit, man.
Like Slayer, Overkill, and not my cup of tea, but
Nah.
I will listen to them like after a long hard day. You just want you're pissed off at the world, driving down the interstate 100 miles an hour, just throw on some heavy metal that you can't even understand what the hell they're saying. But so before the hair bands, though, let me get to my point. I was already introduced to bands like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, AC/DC, Hendrix, The Who, stuff like that. That was nowadays they call it classic rock, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't classic yet
It's
back
our
then.
version of the oldies. Like the 50s
Yeah.
oldies too.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
skipped over. I skipped over the oldies. There was
Yeah.
a station. There was a station down in the valley for the longest time, 1700 AM. I mean, and for us, for our age, the oldies were 50s, 60s, and 70s. They had some good music. I still listen to that too.
Yeah, but do you
You
know what's weird though, Ernest? Like, do you have any friends from San Antonio? Because, dude, they were heavy with the oldies, dog. Like my cousin Ed, like his dad, they were deep, dog, balls deep. But because there's a link between San Antonio and the Richie Valens of the world, dude. Like the first Mexican band signed by some like record label out there. It was a band like they were 15-year-old kids from San Antonio. I interviewed them once with one of the surviving members, dude, and he
is
said
that right?
he said he was hanging out with at a show with Ella Fitzgerald, dog. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like, you know how dope that is? Like, are you out of your mind? You know what I mean? Like, I
I
mean,
mean, but
ah,
it, to them, it's see, to us, they're superstars. They're unreachable. We hold them on a pedestal. But within the music industry, to each other, they're just
like,
you know,
yeah, camaradas.
yes, just friends. And you mentioned San Antonio having a deep roots in the classics and the oldies. I mean, well, think about it. Hello, San Antonio was Mexico before Mexico was Mexico. You know what I mean? Think
Well,
back to the days thinking back to the days of the Alamo. San Antonio is deeply rooted
Well,
in
also,
Mexican
Jonas,
culture.
there's a reason for it too because Capitol Records, I think it's Capitol Records, or it did turn into Universal, maybe, who bought out the. They used to record like these groups in like back in the day, like the blues guys, the Mexican guys, the country guys, like
Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Johnson. I can't name you the norteño groups, but you know, if you're in the
Oh man,
comments, like name them down there. But like, what's that? Where Bob Wills, you know what I mean? Bob Wills and the
yes.
Playboys. So, but like back then, you couldn't just pop on your computer and record like you do now. You know what I mean? Like I do with my stupid little music. But back then,
That
they would have to set up a studio, like a makeshift studio in a business office, and like in downtown Dallas, there's a place. Um, I think it's 901 Peak Street, or if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong. But also in San Antonio, they did that, and that's how like that's that's how all this beautiful stuff got started. I just lost my train of thought, but go on.
look. So in a nutshell, if you wanna get a quick rundown, a quick history lesson on the conjunto artists that are legendary and all started from San Antonio and south. They all met up in San Antonio. Just listen to this one song by an artist by the name of Fruity Villarreal. Maybe some of you have heard of him, maybe not. His name is Fruity Villarreal, and he performs a song titled Homenaje a las Leyendas, right? An homage to the legends. And in that song, it's a long song. It's about maybe 4 minutes long. If I'm not too sure on the length of the song, but it's a pretty long song. And in that song, he breaks down, I mean, almost every legendary conjunto artist, and he gives a quick rundown on how they got started, and pretty much everything comes back to they started in San Antonio and on down because that's, I mean, it's deeply rooted in Tejano and Mexican culture, man. I mean, San Antonio is now, unfortunately, the capital of the RGV. That's where
Yeah,
people
that's
from the
what
RGV,
my brother's there.
people who are too scared to venture any further than San Antonio, that's where they end up. But I love San Antonio, man.
I
It's got
love
some
San Antonio,
got some
dude.
great history.
There's a
Yeah,
spot in San Antonio um, that it's called the Brass Monkey Dog, and on Saturdays they play industrial music, dude. Kind of like, do you remember when we used to be young and go to Matamoros? Like Matamoros is a small little town, like
I'm
well, it's not a small
I'm,
town because there was like some million people, but it's
I'm gonna
across the
take the fifth on that
Brownsville
one.
border.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Oh, that was
Matamoros?
the best, dog. That, you know what? We,
So,
we we were
so
fortunate. We were very fortunate to be around during those days. I have to thank my cousin Monica and my cousin EJ, for showing me, that side of the world. But then as I got older, you venture out with your friends, and then you experience different things that are related to the opposite sex, and it's a very, very cool thing. Are you there, Jonas?
I'm still here. I'm just wondering where you're going with this. So
And the good tacos. Maybe we ate a dog or two. Who
you're, you're,
knows?
you're, you're talking coming of age, and you're talking life, brother. I mean, that's something that everybody, every generation experiences in a different way, in their own way, and it kind of irritates me, or for lack of a better word, when I hear people say they compare generations.
Yeah.
We had it better, or this was better, or this was different. Well, no shit, it was different, man. It
Yeah.
just because we grew up '80s with a different set of standards and different expectations. It's because that's what was available to us. Just because those times are not available to this next generation, which is our kids, if you have any, or whatever, the next generation. Just because they're doing it different doesn't devalue their personal experience, man. Whether it's with music or their beliefs or how they hang out. If they want to hang out inside all day and play video games, I mean that's fine. That's this is their generation. This is their time. Nobody pissed in our cereal when we were doing it our way, right?
Yeah.
Parents trusted us to do the right thing, and for the most part, most of us did the right thing. I like to say that amongst us, our group, which is the guys from Fair Park that we grew up with, most of us, I would say 8 out of 10, we bend the rules. We never really broke them, right? But we just bent
I
them.
broke a bunch of rules, dog. I went to jail a couple of times, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But
like I said, 8 out of 10 of us, for the most part, we weren't out looking to be misfits or just straight up thugs. We just it was growing up. So that, getting back to the music part of that growing up, man, in the 80s, while we were all into the hair bands and the R&B and hip hop, like Heavy D and the Boys.
No, but what you said about like us not making people feel guilty of like what's better, or you didn't experience this certain situation. Dude, I've had situations where people were downright freaking rude to me, dog. Like, because I didn't know certain songs of Luis Miguel, dog. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I recently made a friend who introduced me to Luis Miguel, and she the first album she had me listen to was him live in concert. And let me tell you, man, Luis Miguel to me is the Latin Frank Sinatra. Okay. He has class, he has style, and he has the voice. Girls, a lot of women are crazy about his looks. Personally, I think motherfucker's ugly, right?
Do you think it has something to do with his teeth? Because he had the same freaking teeth that Freddie Mercury had, dude. Pinches dientotes, güey. I think it has something to do with it.
The science behind it, I don't know. But the guy.
Boy, you think he's hot?
I'm grateful that she introduced me to his music, because it's really good, man. If you guys, and a lot of that comes with the stereotypes, the people you hang out with. Someone who, that's the one thing about me, is that I've listened to so many genres and so many different artists, from jazz to tejano to conjunto to classical, that I will not diss any artist based on their brand. So that's why I had no trouble giving Luis Miguel and his music a chance.
But you actually did it. Like, I think something happens when you immerse yourself in a person's catalog. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. So you shut everything else out, and you think that, this is the way, this is the only music, or this is the right way to do it. And that, no, man. I mean, you got to have an open mind. Well, you don't have to. I'm just saying, I have an open mind. Everyone else, to each their own. But if you do not keep an open mind, you really don't know what you're missing, man. You really don't know what you can experience, that you might fall in love with, that you might even try yourself, and you might even excel at it. Why? Because you grew up with friends who are punk rock, or you grew up with friends who are just heavy metal or whatever, and you give nothing else a chance. But that's the one beautiful thing about, or one of the many beautiful things about music to me, is that it's a form of expression, man. And everyone has the right to express themselves in whatever way they want. Myself, probably for growing up with a lack of identity, like not being able to really identify who I was until a later age, actually benefited me, because that helped me just keep an open mind and create a bigger network. Instead of your network just being one genre or one style, I was able to listen and see and experience and hang out with different people, different types of people, from punks to goth to emos, the jocks, the rock and rollers, the shit stompers, as we used to call them back in the day. The cop, and that translates to the music. While I was hanging out with them, I was listening to their music, and I didn't diss it, man. I didn't reject it. I embraced it, and that's where I am today. That's why my playlist. You see these memes on social media about, there's a picture of a rapper and Vicente Fernandez and a country star and a jazz and this and that. That's my playlist, man. That's my playlist, and every now and then I'll put it on just random, and whatever it takes me to. I hardly ever skip over it. I just go with the flow, let it play. So getting to the hair bands, man. When the hair bands were around, we were maybe in junior high.
It was 88, 89. Man, do you remember like Def Leppard came out, dude, with Pour Some Sugar? That whole album, Hysteria. Damn. Dog.
Yes,
that was good. That was good. And MTV was like at its peak. They were actually, playing videos, and not like Teen Mom, pregnant stuff, whatever.
The videos went away, but the music is still there.
Well,
so.
the good thing is videos are still existing. You just have to do your part and actually go look for them. Like I just saw a video of the Yeah Yeahs, and it was dope. I'm glad that they're back.
I know they're on YouTube. They got those Vivo or I think that's
the Vivo videos.
Right? Yeah, and I'm not. Ever since the MTV video days went away, I've never really, going back to what I told you, I've never been a television guy.
Okay.
So the videos for me was not a big loss. The music remains, the music continues. But one of the things about music for me is that I can almost every song, and I'm not exaggerating. I have a wicked memory, man, which is a double-edged sword. You remember the good, you remember the bad, and almost every song on my playlist, and the road is long, man. I work 14-hour days and I drive 11 of those hours. So the road is long, man. My playlist is long, and I'm listening, and almost every song I can put a memory or a moment or several into that one song. I can go back. You mentioned Def Leppard. I can go back while listening to Love Bites and remembering, the girl I was dating at the time, what we were doing.
I remember what we were doing. I remember being in the boys' club. I remember being in that damn little room. You know what I mean?
The Harlingen Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to you guys. The club that beats that club, Mr. Gastroid and the Harlingen Boys and Girls Club most definitely had a hand in keeping me out of prison and being one of those
casualties or another statistic.
Yeah, 2 of the 10 guys that didn't do the right thing, but do the right thing. Spike Lee, speaking of, that was some good hip hop. That was good hip hop era. So hair bands in the mid '80s, we were introduced to the grunge. Tell us how you felt about grunge music the first time you heard it. What did it do for you? Did you like it right away?
Well, I remember.
Tell us the story. What did you feel about grunge, and when it?
Well, just like you said, like you were describing earlier about like how you were like there's certain people that are shaky at first when they get into music. Nambe, I only want to listen to this kind of music. Nambe, I only listen to that kind of music. And during that time, I was like 15 years old or whatever. I was in 9th grade at Alamo, and I was listening to like a bunch of hip hop and New Edition. I was actually, like stealing freaking CDs, at the time, or tapes or whatever, from like Sam Goodies and stuff, like a pendejo. but I had a friend named Oliver. I had a friend named Oliver who was doing the same thing.
Let me interrupt you right quick, man. Don't feel too bad about stealing CDs because I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 people we grew up with still owe Columbia House for those CDs.
Dog, that's how I discovered Tupac, dude. I was the first person in our neighborhood to like through Columbia House get a Tupac tape. You know, it was a Tupacalypse Now.
Hey, the only one who paid Columbia House was Mike Grimaldo.
Dude, I fucked up my dad's credit through that shit. But but no, I had a friend. His name was Oliver, dude, and he was into all he at first he was huge into the Smiths, dog. You know, he was a little goth kid, dude. All the chicks liked him and stuff. Well, you know, the cool little goth girls and skater girls. But once that first Nevermind came album, it was like a musical atomic bomb, dog. Like it just shredded like all the hair bands, all their hair fell out, all their little girl pants, like little stretchy pants, they were evaporated with the bomb that was freaking Nirvana. Dude, once he said, you know, here we are now, entertain us, dude. It was a different world, dude. It changed like from 1 week or to the next day. It was like night and day. And I feel like there are moments like that in music where there's a shift in the whole like there's like a rip in our culture, and that was one moment, dude. I remember vividly, dude, because I mean I was still listening to all the hip hop stuff because I love Tupac, but how was it for you? Like, because you were a little older than I was.
Yeah, I'm 47. How old are you? I think I'm only
45.
like 2 years old. Yeah, so I'm only 2 years older than you, but that was a bigger difference when we were younger. Now, to me, it wasn't. Ouch! You have to understand my personality, though. For me, I wasn't that immediately impressed the way you just described yourself.
But what were your thoughts on Little Kurt?
I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't blown away. And I mean, they're legends. They left their mark. We still listen to them. I still listen to them. I actually appreciate them more now than I did back then. And it's not because I don't think they're talented. For me, it was just, it just wasn't that big of a deal, man. I mean,
it changed, like some friends that I've met, it changed their personality.
And that's the beauty of music, man. And that's what I'm saying. Every genre, every band, every fan has a different reason for being blown away the way you were. You know, and that's beautiful, man. I'm not gonna diss you for that. I'm not gonna devalue you for that. I'm not gonna rag on you or make fun of you. Hey, man, if that's what did it for you, fucking awesome. You know, but for me, grunge did not do that for me. It was, I dig it, I listened to it, but grunge was not a life-changing moment for me. You know, that's just, again, I like it, but I wasn't blown away.
I mean,
so
as a kid, I remember my cousin Elle, my cousin Edna, and my cousin, rest in peace, Edgar. Like, they came down from, and little Esmeralda, they came down from Chicago, and my cousin brought back these mixtapes from Chicago, dog, and it totally changed my world when it came to hip hop, dude. Like, I was wearing like African like those little things you would wear, like, because they were on Yo MTV Raps. I remember I got it like confiscated at Gay University, which it turned to Memorial or whatever. What did I say? University? Gay Junior High.
Gay Junior High changed their name when I was there, man. Let me pinpoint a reason why I wasn't blown away. Okay, to me, grunge is a mixture, or the Seattle sound, as it's known, was influenced by punk rock and heavy metal.
Yeah.
Right? Punk and heavy metal, which I had already been listening to for years, man. When it came mainstream in the mid '80s, I mean, I had already been into music for a good, man, what, 8, 9 years, and we're talking every day, right? Everyday music.
Yeah.
So when I heard the different styles merge or clash, it really, like I said, I liked it, and I was like, all right, cool, this is cool. But it didn't blow me away, and never did I imagine that it was going to be the death of the hairband era. I did not see coming, man. Like, people took the style and they ran with it, man. They started dressing like them. They started growing their hair out. They started, not showering for days and smoking weed. So, and I was cool with it, man. But I was never, you would never catch me dressing grunge or going all out. But like I mentioned earlier, I definitely appreciate them more now than when they first came on the scene. It took a little while for it to grow on me. Let's just say that it took a while for it to grow.
Well, one thing that I did with a friend of mine, Roy Chavez, we used to go on like a whole month of just listening to, a catalog, and one of them was like the Ramones, but one time it was all Nirvana, and it's like, I don't know, like you appreciate it, but then you feel like there is some energy there, man. You know what I mean? Some deep, like, I don't know if it's depression or like some angst but like a whole, like that whole, that, like that heart-shaped box there. I don't know, man.
And that's every genre, bro. And that's why I asked you, I told you, remember how I just told you about I can put a memory or a moment to every song? That's beautiful, man. That's just, people use different bands, different music to express themselves, and you can relate. I mean, it's beautiful how they're so talented, how they have a gift to tell a story, right? They tell a story, they put it on paper, then they put music to it. And some of these stories, man, are perpetual, never ending, it's a story. Like, take, for example, Jackson Browne, one of my favorite artists. He wrote songs in the 70s, and the story he tells in those songs are happening to me 30, 40 years later, man, which is the same thing for when the grunge came around and people started expressing themselves in that way. And to me, though, I think one of the things, looking back on it now, one of the things that kind of kept me at bay about it was that it was kind of depressing, man.
Yeah.
They talked a lot. It's no surprise that, a lot of them suicide, killed themselves and overdose and drugs and this and that. I mean, yeah, it was kind of depressing to me, man. So that was like, I wasn't, not at that age, I was not a depressed,
depressed heroin addict. I don't mean to laugh. If you're into that stuff, get help. I mean, it's cool for a little bit. I mean, it is kind of, it feels good. But
I laugh at myself.
I think anything that feels a little too good, it's probably not good for you. You know what I mean? I mean, you can ease up on the donuts, man. You know what I mean? Like,
it depends on what it is you're talking about. I mean, if being in love feels good to you, then why are you gonna back off from it? You keep going.
But like I mean, there are good things like drinking water. That
cliche you just used does not apply to every situation. It's a common sense thing where, hello, if you're smoking crack or meth and it makes you feel good, but it's bad, of course you're gonna.
But how do you know where that line is? I mean, what if your brain doesn't allow you to differentiate when to stop? Because I don't know.
And that's where the power of music comes into play, man. So I keep telling you about how I can put a moment and a memory to every song. It's not just a living in the past kind of thing. It's for me, it's an everyday life thing to where I'm able to take that moment, that memory, gain a perspective on it, and make a decision. Like, okay, it's all about experience. Hey, I'm feeling this kind of way. I've already been through this. How did I get through it the first time? And you
Yeah.
build on that, and you build on that. That's what I do anyway.
You know what
So
you know how I relate to that notion, Jonas? Do you remember The Matrix, the movie?
I watched part one, and that's about it, bro.
Yeah,
I
well,
could not.
I'm talking about part one. The rest are trash. Even the new one. The new
Yeah.
one's horrid.
Again, I'm not a big television guy, but yeah, I watched part one. What about it? Tell us about it.
So do you remember the time or in the movie where Neo is driving with Trinity, and they've already shown that they're in the Matrix, and that they have special powers or whatever, and
Okay.
Neo is in that nice ass like Lincoln Cadillac with the suicide doors. I think it's a Lincoln Cadillac or Lincoln Continental pinche subdivision. I don't know what it is, but like she's explaining to him like like this is what the Matrix is, or this is you have to choose, Neo. Like, do you ride with us or you're out? So he opens the door to get out. You know what I mean? Like all of us babosos do when we get too drunk and we get all emotional listening to Vicente Fernandez. But like she tells them,
Again, I don't know what you're talking about.
so she tells them, Neo, you know what's out there. You know what I mean? And so you don't even they don't even show you like in the movie where like if like in a modern day movie they would have to explain to you through flashbacks so you to fucking understand. No, you already know. You've already seen where Neo was. You saw his depressed ass, because he was working in a cubicle because he was fucking depressed. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
saw that life. And then he had to make a choice, man. He had to make a choice. It was either that, boring, depressing life, or saying, fuck it, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to ride with this, bomb ass lady and crazy ass black guy who flies and shit, and see
That
where
that
see where it takes me.
that is a perfect example of what how I use it and what it does for me, man. You have a choice to make. You have life is all about choices, man. But we're not gonna get all deep into life and choices and this and that. But listen, unfortunately, I gotta get back on the road because that's how I make my living.
Hey, let, let
But
me let me show you this last story.
okay,
Because
yeah, go ahead.
later
Go
this is how we're gonna end this, but you know how I started making music, or actually you don't know that I've been making music, and so I record these little songs of mine, and I'm gonna post a song later on during the week, like one of those lyric videos. But one of the times I remember most about because I have stage fright, dude. I think it stems back when I was a kid and I was like in kindergarten, and so I only spoke Spanish in my household. But when I went to freaking elementary school, they made us speak English, and so they made us like read this little letter where it showed our name, our address, and I don't know. It could have been on my social security number for all I know, man. But I had to read this little thing, and that's where I got my stage fright. But I got through it. But the first time I remember like singing in public or whatever was check this out, Jonas. So my dad and my uncles took me and EJ, my cousin, out fishing into the Laguna Madre or whatever. Laguna Madre, Laguna Madre.
I was gonna say, man, you gotta work on that
That's
accent.
the way I speak. I don't give a
That
shit.
Fort Worth
I say
accent.
tacos. Fuck it.
And salsa, tacos and salsa. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
No,
continue with.
so they take us out fishing. We had a great day. We didn't catch shit, but we our motor died, dude. And during that time, like while my uncles are trying to fix the motor or whatever, because we're like out in the well, not the ocean, but probably we're surrounded by water. You know what I mean? And it's getting late. But like while they're trying to fix this thing, me and EJ were like singing these songs, dude, like karaoke. But like we did that because we love music, man. And just like you, like all my life I've been surrounded by music and very grateful for music. And in the next episode we're gonna talk about music because it is a very important thing. And I just want to thank you, Jonas, for taking a little bit of time of your road.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. It's always a pleasure. Hey, so for our listeners, though, I would like for the listeners to get involved, man. So once Betin or Humberto posts this video, once he posts the video, please feel free, jump on there.
Like, subscribe, yeah.
Tell it. No, well, besides all that, I'm talking about join us in your memories of music. Tell us one of your favorite songs and what it reminds you of, what it takes you back to. You know, music is beautiful. It's for everybody.
Yeah, so that'd be great if they would send a little video. I could make a little video of them sharing their story with us. So just record on your phone, and then I'll make a sample thing.
I have some friends who are really talented, have beautiful voices, and I've seen them on video. But, you know, for whatever reason, they don't like to put themselves out there. I would like to take this time, if you're listening to, I would like to encourage you to, man, you have beautiful voices. You're great at what you do. Share with us. Share with the internet. Share with everybody so they can. You never know. You're gonna make somebody's day, and man, if you can make just one person's day, I mean that's a successful day, man. So yeah, please feel free to go on that link that Humberto is gonna post and share one of your experiences with us. Share a memory with us. Share a song with us. We'd love to hear from you.
Man, have a safe trip on the road, man. You know.
I'll do my best, brother.
Take care of the kitties. Right.
Be safe, everybody. We'll see you. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace. Peace.
Later.
Peace.